Somatic awareness and health. This PowerPoint is about the mind-body connection. Mind, body, and somatic practices have been around for thousands of years. So this is by no means an exhaustive list of all the various mind, body, and somatic practices available and being practiced today. These are just some popular and commonplace ones. Some of these I have personal and professional experience with and knowledge about, others only a rudimentary understanding. Mind-body practices are meant to increase and strengthen the connection between all body parts. And, oftentimes in the West, westernized countries, westernized cultures, we live with a very reductionistic way of thinking. Some of these types of practices seem strange and maybe even on the edge of quackery. But the purpose of many of these, if not all of them, is to connect what seems and feels disconnected. We'll begin with acupuncture and Chinese medicine. And although acupuncture is practiced in Japan and Korea, and I'm sure in many other Asian countries, traditional Chinese medicine tends to be widespread and popular in the United States. Ayurveda has gained popularity over the last few decades. It is still not real widely known in the United States. It has origins in India. It's thousands of years old and is practiced in India alongside Western approaches to medicine. I do want to say a little bit about chakras for the specific intention of the connection to parts of the endocrine system and other neurologic plexuses. So many of you may be familiar with this picture over here on the left, which shows, of course, the spine, and it shows the nervous system, the central nervous system, and then the peripheral nervous system, the nervous connection between multiple organ systems in our body. So the thing that I want to point out is that within the chakra system, which is 7 energy centers located in various parts of our body, each one of these chakras is actually connected to or associated with different plexuses. So the root chakra, that first one, is the sacral plexus, Svadhisthana. The second chakra is associated more with some of those digestive plexuses. Manipura, the solar plexus, is associated with our diaphragm and lots of organs that are directly connected to that spot in our diaphragm, pancreas, liver, stomach. Heart chakra is again associated with the heart. In Vishuddha, the throat is connected to the vocal cords. It's connected to the thyroid and the parathyroid. Third eye is connected to kind of a lot of the sense organs in our head and how we perceive and take things in the environment. And then the crown chakra is, of course, associated with the pineal gland. All right, a little bit about biofeedback and neurofeedback. Biofeedback is a mind-body therapy that can improve both physical and mental health. There are sensors that are used to measure bodily functions, and the results can be seen on a screen, which then give feedback to the internal alterations by the client. Over time, ideally what happens is the changes become ingrained, it becomes automatic, and a person can then do these techniques without the use of equipment. Neurofeedback, also known as EEG biofeedback, is a therapeutic intervention that uses the client's brain waves. It uses sounds or visual cues for the client to learn to control brain function in order to alleviate symptoms of neurologic or other mental health disorders. MBSR, meditation, guided imagery, and progressive relaxation are becoming a lot more commonplace, And many of these techniques are derived from Eastern traditions. All of them have been adapted in one way or another to be able to better fit kind of Western bodies and minds. The thing that's great about these techniques is they're very easily accessible, they're inexpensive, they can be practiced just about anywhere, and they have been shown through research and through studies to be helpful for multiple ailments, both physically and mentally. And the studies have shown some really great successful results, again, for lots of different types of health conditions. Things like Reiki, emotional freedom technique, essential oils, Tai Chi, and Qigong, again, are also becoming a lot more popular. Reiki is a system for healing. For those of you that are not familiar with this, it's rooted in Zen Buddhism from Japan. It was originally passed down through oral traditions and can now be studied at places here like Northwestern Health Sciences University. It can be taken in workshops, and there are even courses online using a variety of different schools and certification processes. Reiki is most commonly done as a hands-off in-person modality, but this can also be adapted and used with the hands being placed on the body, and it is often very commonly done successfully through remote connections. Now, emotional freedom technique, or EFT, is used to assist with multiple types of psychological and behavioral issues. Essential oils use concentrated plant extracts, and they use to stimulate areas of the brain that plays a role in emotions, behavior, sense of smell, and also memory. So if I want you to kind of think back to the olfactory nerves and the immediate access from the nasal passage to the brainstem, how this can create some very quick results. There are over 90 commonly used oils that are associated with health claims. Some of these oils are taken internally in small doses, while others are vaporized through diffusers or rubbed directly on the skin at strategic locations to stimulate a response. Now, things like Tai Chi and Qigong. In Tai Chi, there is a series of full body movements that are performed in slow, focused manners, and this is really helpful for joint mobility, balance, and overall calmness. And Qigong is oftentimes described as the internal portion of Tai Chi. Now, there's an article from Complementary and Integrative Health Approaches to Trauma Therapy and Recovery. It's an article that was published in Psychological Trauma, Theory, Research, and Practice and Policy in 2020. It looked at some popular practices of complementary and integrative health, commonly referred to as CIH, abbreviated as CIH. It was done through the National Center for Complementary and Integrated Health. So it showed that 1 in 3 adults and 1 in 9 children used these CIH approaches, which are defined as a group of diverse medical and healthcare systems, practices, and products that are not presently considered to be part of conventional medicine. What they found in this study is that people do not disclose these types of practices or engaging in these types of practices with their primary medical doctors. Part of it is due to a fear of skepticism and a lack of understanding. Many allopathic physicians know little to nothing about practices that fall outside of the purview of Western medical practices, but things like acupuncture, meditation, and yoga are now being more widely recommended for a growing number of health conditions. Treatments that are used include meditation, relaxation techniques, yoga, Reiki, and Tai Chi. And research again shows that the results of these various practices for those with psychological and health issues, primarily PTSD, are really promising. Again, a couple of videos, mind-body connection in the nervous system. So again, these videos can be placed, they're here, they're in a couple other places. They can be put in nearly any one of the PowerPoints in these modules. Again, if you didn't watch them previously, watch them now. You may want to watch them again a second time if you already did watch them. And so just in summary, there are multiple forms of mind, body, and somatic practices, and many of them come from Eastern traditions and have been practiced for hundreds and even thousands of years. They're accessible. Again, many of them are quite easy to do and relatively risk-free. As healthcare providers, it is important for us to know about these modalities, but also to practice ones that resonate with us, not just to tell our clients or our patients that they should be doing them. It's kind of important for us to practice what we preach. And here are some references.